Hello. I just want to pause for a few moments to commemorate my mother and to tell how, through her example, she has influenced me to be the person I am today. My mother was born in 1968 to an immigrant German mother and a young American father, himself in the Army at the time, in St. Louis, Missouri. And she was followed by a sister and one brother. And when my mother was young, she had to do most things for herself, and that taught her independence from an early age. As a child, she did not have much in terms of material things, so she began her first job when she was 14. Even today, most people don't start working until they're at least 16 years old usually. My mother left South Carolina after moving here when she was 24 with my father, and I was born when she was 25. And a lot of my success has come from my mother pushing me. And she's modeled three main things in my life. First, she has shown me strength. Having come from a relatively little means herself, she's had to learn to be her own person early on, and she's been working for most of her life. My father became an alcoholic actually after I was born, and in this she showed strength by not allowing that to continue. In that situation, she had to incur a lot of financial debt to keep living, which she is still slowly but surely paying off now. And that sets a really good example. Second, she's shown considerable motivational force, almost too much at times. She's always motivated me to get great grades in my academic pursuits and my other interests, and such that I have not had less than a 4.0 GPA in college now. I attribute that mostly to her example. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I actually need much motivation anymore, because I think I've totally internalized motivation, at least in academic matters. Third, and I think most important of all, is that she's shown me the value of being able to read well. It's kind of an odd quality to think about whenever you're commemorating your mother, probably. Most people wouldn't think of that. But I think more than anything else, this is one of the most important qualities that she's instilled in me so far. Because it's one of the most important skills I think that you can have in your life, is to be able to read well. Reading is critically important for success in life, to a point where I believe basically that if you can read well, I think you can make great grades in every one of your classes, and you should be able to do well in almost any job and any pursuit that you put your mind to. If you know terms, words, how to communicate, how to write, how to read, you can, in a certain sense, manipulate any situation to your advantage. So often I think poor performance essentially comes down to poor reading abilities. So an object that definitely reminds me of my mother is a book. And this is, of course, a book, The Catcher in the Rye, actually one of my favorites. One that she actually introduced to me when I was about 12 years old. My mother read to me and taught me to read early in life, so by the time I began school, I was already reading whole books. The gift of reading is the one from my mother that will stay with me the longest, and for which I am most grateful. Of course, again, I realize that that's kind of an odd thing to commemorate about your mother, but again, I think it's probably one of the most important things that she's taught me to do. So finally, it's a little difficult to speak about this subject because commemorating my mother seems a little unnatural. I've never done that before, and I've never thought of doing it before, but today just seemed like a good time to do it. And I hope this has been an inspiration for you to examine the gifts that you've received from your mother.